Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then don't forget to subscribe down below. And without much further ado, let's get on with the video. Hello everyone. Today I have another review for you guys. You can probably tell from the title, it's Frozen 2. We're going to start off this video with the main thing that I have been asked, and that is, do I prefer Frozen 1 to Frozen 2? Now, it's a lot harder than just picking a favourite between them because it's a weird one, okay? Frozen 1, I never watched it in the cinema. I was like, this is too hyped. I ain't gonna like it. Not gonna watch it. Over the past 3 to 4 years, my love for Frozen has just grown, and it's crazy. It's like exploded in my brain, and I don't know if it's just kind of I relate to the characters a lot or whatever it is. I just began to love Frozen a lot more. And when I went to Epcot, there was obviously Frozen Ever After, and I went on that ride and it changed my whole opinion on Frozen. Like, I think that ride alone made me love Frozen 10 times more than my kind of love for it at that point. Like, I was obsessed once I'd been on that ride. And the Vowley, which I think is pronounced right, I asked my friend Caroline, who's from Norway, and she said it's pronounced Vowley. But that song, specifically in Frozen Ever After, latched itself into my brain, and I'm pretty sure it's now my favourite Disney song. Anyway, that's getting really off topic. That is Frozen 1. That's my thoughts on Frozen 1. Like, I didn't love it, but then it slowly grew, and it just reminds me of Epcot, I guess, which is why I love it so much, and I relate to the characters through Elsa's anxiety and all that kind of stuff. And I love the songs. Every song in Frozen is an actual tune. Like, I don't even care who you are or what. Like, every song is so smart. It's such a bop. Like, this is shorts and films and musical all combined. There are so many songs. You have to like at least one Frozen song. Anywho, Frozen 1, that is my thoughts. Frozen 2, I was so excited for. If you didn't know, I work in a Disney store, so I was like dodging spoilers everywhere I went. I watched the film and I cried so hard. Like, so hard, okay? Like, I don't think I've cried at a film so aggressively hard since, like, Infinity War. And that was, like, next level crying, okay? Like, it was so good. I love it so much. And since that first viewing, I have been back 2 more times, so I've seen it 3 times now. And I cried even harder every single time I watch it. And, yeah, it hurts, but I love it, and I genuinely think it gets better the more you watch it. But also, life events, which I'm not going to divulge in this video, but maybe in some video, made me kind of latch onto Frozen as a very emotional, happy film. So I have got to say that Frozen 2 is probably my favourite out of the 2, because if I was going to put one on, I would choose the one that makes me feel super happy and super like emotional, because why not? But the first Frozen is still that unique, really good film with really good music. And I think the first film's soundtrack is more a whole thing, but then I think the second one is each character has their own individual voice, more so, which is really interesting. And I did feel like the second film's music was a lot more autumnal somehow. Where am I going with this? I don't know. I'm gonna have to say Frozen 2, but don't get me wrong, if you put Frozen 1 on, I'm gonna be there singing along. That's just how it is. Also, Anna in Frozen 2 is just amazing. I love her character development. I love her animation. Obviously, I love the whole animation, but I love her animation. I love the many little things and little quirks they give her character. I love her so much, and I don't know, I just related so hard to her character, and she's now one of my faves. I think she's my second favourite Disney princess / queen, obviously, after Tiana. I got this from my mum, and I also got a tiny little Funko Pop keyring to put on my keys, because I just want to take her everywhere with me and tell her it's all going to be okay, and she's okay to feel emotion, because I feel like she's the kind of person that will keep her own emotions locked up and then let everyone else kind of have their emotions, but then no one ever asks if she's okay. And it's just, oh, I love her so much, okay? She's strong for everyone, and then she has to be strong for herself. She's such a good character, and I know we don't pit Elsa and Anna against each other, but I feel like a lot of people are stepping over Anna to look at Elsa and be like, Elsa's the one with magic, she's this amazing person that's found herself. But Anna found herself in that film as well, and relate, and I love her. Anywho, we are going to jump over to Instagram, where I asked you guys to send me questions because that's how I like to do my reviews, so it's structured and I know what the hell I'm talking about, otherwise I'll waffle. First question is, did it make you cry? If so, what part? As I said, I cried very hard every time I watched it, at the same moments, at different moments, like, it was a lot, but I will say the first point of me crying was literally the opening frame, because it played the Vowley, which I was kind of prepared for, but I also wasn't in any way, and yeah, I started crying at that. What else did I cry at? I cried so hard at The Next Right Thing. It's really weird because everyone is hyping up Show Yourself and saying that's the emotional song, and they were crying at that. I don't think I cried as hard at Show Yourself as I did at The Next Right Thing, because I don't know if it's because I've been in that situation where I feel very like down and I can't see like a good side of things and you just have to kind of keep going. I don't know. I just think I really related to that moment and that song and everything that Anna was feeling. So I don't know, I think I could see myself in that character, and so I just lost it, and I was just there like, I can't do this, guys. Another part that I really specifically remember like going, oh no, why are you doing this to me, was when the Northuldra people started singing the Vowley just to Anna and Elsa, and I was just like, I didn't realise people were actually going to visually sing this song. I gotta leave now, I can't do this. Because obviously, as I said, I love that song a lot, and I wasn't prepared for such a beautiful new version of it. So they're the points when I cried. What's your opinion on Christoph's new single? I love it. I think it was hilarious. I have not laughed that hard in a while. I just think it was genius. It was weird. It was funny. It was Christoph. I love it. I love the Bohemian Rhapsody, like, moment. I love that he goes up to an acorn and uses it on mic. Favourite song from the soundtrack? I think, obviously, Vowley is, in any form of any Frozen soundtrack, that is probably my favourite. But I will say it changes every day, but I think The Next Right Thing means the most to me, so I would say that's probably my favourite. Although I do really like Into the Unknown, because when I listen to the song, I can visualise the movie extremely well. Specifically when she goes like, I can hear you, but I won't. And then also when she flicks her hair. Like, I just see it, which is really nice and really fun. So one of those ones that I just said. What was your reaction to Anna's song? So, you know that bit where Olaf is like, at least they have their parents are dead. And he's like in the corner at the back. Yeah, that's exactly how my whole being felt when Anna was singing that song. And how my being feels every time I listen to that song. I love it. I think it's so smart, so good, and just so, I don't know, it works, and I love it. Thoughts on any more Frozen movies? I don't think there should be any more Frozen movies, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's nicely wrapped up. I think if they went a bit more, it would be too much. Did we need a sequel though? I don't know. We all know they're just trying to make as much money as they can off of Frozen, but I'm fine with it because Frozen's really good. It's not a really bad film that they're just like, we're just gonna keep making money off of this. No, it's a very good, very educational film, in my opinion, that people can relate to, adults and children, and I just think it's amazing. And I do think that adults can take a lot away from Frozen 2, specifically, about like depression, anxiety, isolation, dissociation, all that kind of stuff, not knowing yourself, finding yourself. I just think there's a lot that you can read into the film, and if anyone ever says to you that animation is just for kids, slap him in the face with a Frozen 2 DVD and say, watch this, because you're lying to yourself, okay? I don't know why I said DVD. We don't even use DVDs anymore. Slap him in the face with the Disney Plus account somehow. I don't know. Thoughts on Anna becoming queen and Elsa staying in the forest? I thought it was genius. I loved it. I know some people thought it was not a great ending, but I think it was so good, because Anna, her whole life, has obviously wanted her sister and wanted to kind of be part of a thing. They never opened the gates. She never got to see the people, and now she's looking after those people and doing what she does best, which is looking after people, because she's just kind of had to be the bigger person for her whole life in a way. Elsa has obviously got her whole spirit moment going on, and she doesn't have the mental capacity or the need to govern Arendelle, but then Anna is there and she's like, I can do this, bro. I can live my best life. I can govern these people. I can give us really good times, and we can unite the lands. what? I don't know. I just think she proved herself ready to be queen, more so than Elsa ever did, because obviously Elsa's the oldest daughter, so she would automatically become queen. But I just think that they did it in a way that shows that Anna is very much ready for that, while Elsa is very much ready to now kind of lead the spirits and look after the natural world, which is really cool. Yeah, I think it was a very nice plot ending moment thing. Opinion on Elsas Glow Up. Obviously, I loved it. I think if you didn't love her glow up, we can't be friends. But I mainly took away from it the fact that her hair went through so many stages, which is very interesting, and I feel like it had to be done very specifically. It couldn't have been them being like, you know what, we want Elsa's hair to be down for this because we want her to look like this. Sure, you could say they did her hair in a different way so they could sell more dolls. But to me and quite a few other people, it very much resembles her letting go of her past self and becoming who she's meant to be, because obviously in the first film, she first has her hair up in her braid like her mother used to do, so she's very much kind of being her mother. Then she takes her braid down in the famous let it go moment where Marshmallow then becomes queen of the North Mountain, right? Or king, but like it's a tiara, so we're going to accept that Marshmallow is the queen now because Marshmallow is the queen. But she obviously has her hair in a loose braid and she's like, I found it, this is who I am now. Yes, I'm a loose braided, but I'm still a bit trapped, you know, just a little bit trapped. And obviously in the shorts, it's always the braid. Of course, she then puts her hair in a ponytail, which you can say is kind of more of that letting go of this past self. There is literally one thing stopping her hair and herself from being free, which you could say is that hairband, or you could say is the water knock that is in the way, you know, there's only one thing left. Then finally, when Elsa gets to Otter Holland, she is able to let her hair completely down and she can become herself and not feel as constricted, and she's just free to be who she is. And I think it's just a very great visual way of showing that change over the films and making it very much she is separated from most of the other people in Arendelle as well, because I don't think any of them have their hair down, or at least they have some kind of braid that is very Arendellian. She isn't just from Arendelle anymore, but she is a spirit of the forest and kind of, I don't know, more free. I think that's just the thing. Her hair is free. She is free. Freedom. Any original Frozen 1 characters you like more in this film? Every single character? I think they all expanded on their character development. I enjoyed them all. Anna, I think, has had such a big moment and I love her so much, as we know. I already said this. Elsa obviously glowed up. Like, I think they just all became better characters. I even loved Olaf more in this one. And I actually laughed at Olaf's jokes. They were hilarious, okay? I laughed so hard every time as well. It wasn't just the first viewing and I was like, haha, that's funny. I mean, every time I was like mild cackling because it was very funny. And I will never get over Olaf telling me that I look a little bit older. That hit me where it didn't need to hit me, right here, and it hurt, okay? It hurt. We know it's been 6 years, but we don't need to be reminded. Did you like the part when Elsa and Olaf died, and would you have changed it? It's weird because I never really like register in my brain that they died, but they did die. Like, straight up. Obviously I knew they'd be fine because they can't kill off Olaf. Imagine that many kids being told that Olaf is dead. Like, no. I thought it was very interesting, and this is why I don't think it's just for kids, because from personal experience, I've watched Disney films and obviously a bad thing happens. Usually a character is very close to death or very sad in some way. And at that point, children start crying because they don't understand what's going on. And then because they're crying, their parents take them out of the cinema and then that child thinks the worst of said character. Like Toy Story 3, for example, when they're about to go in the furnace, I know quite a few children left at that moment. When Dory couldn't find her parents, I remember very vividly hearing a child say, Mummy, where are Dory's parents? Then starting to cry, then the parent took them out, and then this kid never saw that Dory found her parents again. It's very much that kind of thing. So, when Olaf and Elsa died, I know a lot of kids were like, what the hell? Like, what? Started crying. Their parents would have taken them outside, and quite a few of those children would probably be mildly traumatised. Which is why I think that Anna's song is a lot more of an adult song, because to kids, it's like, oh, this is a sad moment. We be sad, but we don't know why we're being sad, if you get what I mean. But to an adult, you can read so far into it or at least I can, that it just made me absolutely break down because I related so hard. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I really enjoyed the fact that they killed off Elsa and Anna, obviously to bring them back. I wasn't worried that they'd disappear forever. I just think it added so much to the plot and added that kind of unexpectedness to said plot, while also being rather risky for Disney to do because they know that quite a few kids are going to leave when they start to be sad because they'll be crying. Like, it just happens. So I think it was very interesting choice, and I really enjoyed it, and I will cry every time it happens because Olaf's death really broke me. More so than Elsa's, because I knew Elsa was going to be completely fine, but damn Olaf, like, warm hugs all around. Did anything disappoint about the movie? I honestly don't think so. I loved every song. I loved every piece of animation. The water is insane in this film. Like, the water droplets in the ship, crazy, but also the water coming around the mountains. I genuinely for a moment was like, wait, this is an animated film. That's animated, not actual water. What? So that aspect I loved. Characters I loved. Genuinely don't think I would change anything. I think it rounded up quite nicely in my opinion because it just, I don't know, it feels complete. What dress do you prefer? I prefer the journey dress, which is this one just here. I love her cape, but I also really enjoy the animators could have kept her cape on her for that whole cave scene, okay? They could have been like, you know what, we're just gonna keep the thing on. It makes sense. She's an animated character. Things like that can happen in films. They don't need to lose any pieces of clothing. But to me, it read as very much Anna lost the colour, you know? Because when she sings The Next Right Thing, she's literally just wearing black clothes. It's very dark, very depressing, very much stuck in that dark place. And whether they did that on purpose, which personally I think they did do on purpose, or if they didn't, that's what I'm liking to think. I love her costume, and I love, specifically in that scene when she's sitting there after Olaf has died and she's hugging her like satchel. I didn't get it the first 2 times for some reason. I was like, why is she hugging her satchel? Like, is she just like, she just needs that to kind of like hold on to. I then realised it's literally got Olaf's body parts in it, so she's trying to still give Olaf warm hugs. I cried really hard at this film, guys. Like, it broke me. I think we're at the end of the questions, finally. This video's been long. Yay. But there you go. That's my thoughts on Frozen. Actually, 2 things I want to say. 2 little tiny little things that I saw that I don't know if they were meant to be like a haha or not. That made no sense. But first one, at the beginning of the film, you see Elsa and Anna playing with little snow people, and obviously they have a whole moment where Elsa's like, the Snow Queen comes in to save the day, and then Anna says, and they all get married. And at this point she like lifts up all of the kind of figurines. One of them is Baymax, fun fact, but she lifts them all up, and when she says the word married, the prince falls from that like pile, and I just thought that was really funny because obviously Hans is the prince. He ain't got married, he got punched in the face. So that was a nice little nod. Whether it was very specifically that it was nodding to, who knows, maybe she was just dropping a prince because she don't need no prince because she is the queen. The other thing that I really liked was the little nod, or at least I took it as a nod, to the original Snow Queen story, which was, if you don't know, the original Snow Queen story has a cracked mirror in it, and when you look into the mirror it kind of messes you up in the brain and it makes you kind of, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it does a thing. It's a cracked mirror. That's what you need to know. There is a cracked mirror in the original text. In the film, when they go to the Arendelle ship, which is the ship that their parents obviously died on, there is a cracked mirror that Elsa looks into, and I thought that was a very nice little nod. Whether it was meant to be such a nod, who knows? But I took it as a nod. So thanks, animators. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your very hard work in making these little things that might be nods, might not be nods, but it'd be weird if they weren't nods because they're very much nods. You know? I think that is everything I want to say on Frozen, but I will say, actually, 2 things. The first thing is that on Instagram, I have started a new account alongside my current spoilers.123 account, which is solely for my pins, okay? It's called Journey into Pins, and if you want to know what my pin collection is, go there because there's going to be a lot coming. And the other thing is my Disney vlogs. I really wanted to get them out December, but the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking, wait until January once your dissertation is done, because I currently have 30 days to finish my dissertation and I ain't doing as good as I thought I was. So I really feel like I need to put my brain there, and I want to make my dissertation good, and I want to make these Disney videos good, so they will be coming at some point, but it might be in the new year. yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now and let you guys go and enjoy the rest of your evening. If you enjoyed this video and you want to carry on watching, I do Disney videos, I do theme park videos, I do review videos, I do a whole lot of other things, then please do not forget to subscribe just here. Then here will be a link to a previous video and here will be a link to a recommended video. But until next time, bye!